Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I wanted to have a chat about Pokemon card investing in essentially October, but also the year that has been and the future that is going to be upon us very, very soon. If you've been living under a rock, Pokemon card investing has really been shooting up in popularity. I think that Poke Investing Reddit subs over 100,000 members now. And there's plenty of obviously YouTube channels and plenty of, I suppose, big whales or big investors like Rudy that have really been sinking their teeth into the hobby. I wouldn't say it's recognized as a mainstream alternative investment. However, it is a super, super fun way to see some of your sealed products and some of your favorite childhood memories transfer into an increase in value over time, but specifically if you enjoy collecting them. Anyway, with all that being said, let's sink our teeth into the nuts and bolts of this video. So, Scarlet and Violet era, it seems to have been only yesterday that was released. Obviously, the silver borders have come out and, there was this real hangover, I guess, from what was an absolute ripper half or even almost ripper 2/3 from, Chilling Reign onwards towards the end of the Sword and Shield era, finishing with an absolute bang that was Crown Zenith, an absolutely awesome holiday set, which is still getting printed and there's still products on shelves and people still love ripping it open. But, there was this real hangover from that period of some mega sets, Evolving Skies, Lost Origin, to name a couple, of course, Crown Zenith that I just mentioned, into this new Scarlet and Violet era where pull rates changed, silver borders changed, double reverse holo hits changed, new rarities changed, and everyone was a little bit shocked. And quite often when change happens, people struggle sometimes to deal with that change, and it takes a little bit of time. And I feel like we're there now. In fact, I feel like we're well and truly there now. It seems like only, again, yesterday, people have forgotten about Sword and Shield. And hey, look, I wouldn't say you've missed the boat on Sword and Shield. Plenty of those sets will do what some of the good Sun and Moon sets and even the mid-tier Sun and Moon sets have done. They will continue to go up in price. However, it's a more difficult pill to swallow for people buying a $220 Fusion Strike booster box than picking up a $98 Surging Sparks booster box and enjoying the ride up in the future for Surging Sparks. So you haven't missed the boat in Sword and Shield. Those good sets, Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, of course, even at the price that's at, Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars, Silver Tempest, etc., Astral Radiance, those sets still have some appreciation to do. They will continue to get older and rarer and therefore more valuable, particularly if they've got good chase cards inside them. That'll just happen. But the transition's happened almost overnight, it feels, where the community now really accepts Scarlet and Violet. And maybe that's because of a couple of things. Maybe it's because pull rates have changed. Maybe it's because we've got some strong chase cards. Maybe it's because people just really, really like the artwork on those cards now. And on that, let's transfer into the next topic I wanted to talk about, and that is there are some strong sets starting to come in Scarlet and Violet. And I think that's why people are starting to accept it now. I think when base set come out, people were just like, oh, you know what, we come off, like I was saying, this massive high from Sword and Shield era, particularly with that whole Galarian Gallery from Crown Zenith, and now we've got this. This seems a bit worse than what we just had, but it's new, and if it's new, shouldn't it be better? And people are like, well, it's not really all that much better. Paldea Evolved even took a little bit of traction and time for the market to accept it, which it now has, particularly that Magikarp, of course, and some of those other illustration rares and special illustration rares in that set. But we're now getting some strong sets. And even if we look at sets like Twilight Masquerade, sets like Temporal Forces that have come out this year, the total set value of those sets is similar to, if not in Twilight Masquerade's case, eclipses some of those good Sword and Shield sets that we rated so highly. Like Twilight Masquerade actually has a bigger overall set value than Lost Origin. And you'd think, hold on, Lost Origin's got Giratina, Aerodactyl, a beautiful trainer gallery full of Pikachu cards. Shouldn't that have a much higher total set value than Twilight Masquerade? Well, currently it doesn't. And, with Surging Sparks around the corner, which is getting like all the love in the world, there are, of course, some haters that disagree and just say it's Vivid Voltage 2.0, which I strongly disagree with. I think it's an absolute stellar set. Has it missed a few tricks? Yeah, I've said that. Could the Pikachu card have been, a touch better looking? Yeah, probably. Could it have done with something like a Flygon special illustration rare? Yeah, probably. Would that have made the set stronger? Yeah, also probably. But it is such a strong set, and I cannot wait for it. It's got some beautiful, beautiful chase cards inside there, and that need for the chase is going to really bolster up box prices. But on that, there's some strong sets coming, and we know around the corner we've got things like maybe an Evolution-based set. We've also got things like the Team Rocket-based set, and people maybe even trainers are coming back, like a trainer set, or maybe that's just going to be a new mechanic in the game where it's rolled out across the final Scarlet and Violet sets moving into 2025, because 2025 is the final year of Scarlet and Violet. After that, we're on to whatever's next. And talking about whatever's next, I think a few things have been leaked about the next Pokemon card era. That's a different topic altogether, though. But rewinding back to the original sort of argument at hand, is that there's so many Scarlet and Violet sets now where total set value, Paldea Evolved is another one, that are really rivaling some of those, if not stronger than Sword and Shield sets. Like, a lot of them so far are stronger than a set like Brilliant Stars. And Brilliant Stars in Australia, and I know it's a little bit different market to the US, of course, but Brilliant Stars booster boxes, you've got to pay what are they up to now? Last time I checked eBay, you've got to pay $340, $350 to get yourself a Brilliant Stars booster box. That is twice the price that you could have bought it at launch. Like, they're $170 here in Australia at launch, which is, around about $100 US. And I don't know what they're at in US dollars now. They're probably, I don't know, maybe pushing 200 or north of 200. My point is, it's doubled its value. So the expectation to think that some of these Scarlet and Violet sets that are somehow weaker and they're not going to double in value is a complete fallacy, in my opinion. There's no reason they shouldn't double in value. Yes, some of them will get reprints. Yes, 151 has been coined for a reprint or a new product coming out in 2025. We've said that all along. Like, you can't, it's fun to watch. Like, it is fun to watch them. It's fun to watch 151 absolutely rocket up in price. But make no mistake, like, Pokemon can and will reprint cards whenever they want to. Like, it's just going to happen. I said from the start with Scarlet and Violet era, I would be extremely surprised if perhaps one or two of these sets doesn't cop a big reprint, or any reprint at all. Perhaps they just get some tiny waves of reprints, but keep in mind, most of them, if not all, should cop a small second wave, or even in some cases, a big second wave, or even in some cases, a very small third wave. Yes, there will be some that don't get reprinted. Like, I thought there would be, especially the velocity that they're, I suppose, releasing sets at the moment. There's every chance some of them won't get reprinted. But for the most case, until they're out of rotation, nothing is off the table and nothing feels safe. If you've got a cash cow like 151 is, as a business decision, why wouldn't you milk it? Like, it's just money for jam. People are going to buy that product left, right, and center. And hence the new premium collection. That is such a good business/financial decision for the Pokemon Company International. Like, why wouldn't you put it in a premium collection that has, the most return on investment or the most profit from a company point of view, and know full well that people will buy it because it's got 151 packs inside it? That's just milking the cow. That's just making money. It's inevitable. Will it impact prices? Will there be enough product or supply in the market to impact prices? I don't think so. I think 151 is just too strong. Like, I think it'll handle, or if it doesn't handle, it'll bounce back so quickly it'll barely even matter. But I guess, again, circling back to that original argument, if some of these Sword and Shield sets, like Brilliant Stars, which has a total set value of $700, versus Temporal Forces, which has a total set value of $800, versus Twilight Masquerade, that has a total set value over $1,000, to think that these sets won't double in price, I think you're just kidding yourself. Yes, like I was saying, they could get reprinted somewhere along the way, but as an investor, you should be thinking long term. You shouldn't be thinking about flipping these products in a 6-month or a 12-month period. It should be essentially in it for the long term, particularly if you're a sealed investor, because I've said again 100 times, singles can go like this. They can shoot up, and we've seen it with like the Charizard from 151, how quickly they can increase so rapidly in price. It can happen, and it can be a great ride and great fun, but as quickly as that happens, it could shoot up 60% in price and then retract 30 or 40% just as quickly. you could have bought on the way up and then all of a sudden it falls off the cliff again, and it might not go back to its original price that it was, 6 months ago, for argument's sake. But what I'm getting at is it's very, very turbulent investing in singles. But from a sealed perspective, I think you'd be kidding yourself if you don't think some of these Scarlet and Violet sets can easily double in price. And in a reasonable time frame as well. I think as soon as these sets are out of rotation, and there's plenty of time left, of course, but as soon as a set like Surging Sparks is out of rotation, as soon as a set like Twilight Masquerade, that Greninja will still be a chase card for years to come as soon as that's out of rotation. And think about the pull rates on it. It's like 1 in 900 packs to pull yourself a Greninja. That adds value to the card. PSA 10 prices, keep those in mind as well. You've got some ripper PSA 10 prices, which can be a good little play for people wanting to flip raw cards into PSA 10 copies. Even in sets like Obsidian Flames, you've got cards like Scizor, for argument's sake, that, you can buy for like $6 raw and it's like $110 as a PSA 10. Like there's plays to be had everywhere in Scarlet and Violet. And I think people finally are starting to recognize that. And hey, if you're like me and have maybe been in the industry, or I suppose the investment space, for a bit longer, like, pre-Sword and Shield era, if you've got booster boxes from Sun and Moon, X and Y, Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, or even if you started halfway through Sword and Shield and you got booster boxes through to, Stellar Crown with maybe some Surging Sparks on pre-order, if you have any of these apps, and now look, I started with the Collector app. I've promoted the Shiny app, which is a brilliant app that's come out, and I'm not promoting it now, but I have promoted it, and I think it's a brilliant app. So no matter what app you put all your singles and sealed products, I separate them. I don't put my singles in there because they're too volatile. I keep just my sealed in an app because that's what I like to track. And if you're anything like me and look at it every once in a while, maybe, once a month or once a fortnight even, you can just see the ride up. The trail is only going one direction with sealed product. If I look in my apps and I go, I've got heaps and heaps of Sword and Shield booster boxes. I've got a few Sun and Moon booster boxes. I've got a few Sun and Moon Elite Trainer boxes, XY Elite Trainer boxes, even Sword and Shield Elite Trainer boxes, and they're all sitting inside this app as a relatively large sum of money. And I look at what the performance has been over the last day, the last 7 days, the last 30 days, the last 3 months, the last 6 months. It's all just trending in one direction. And the fact, I guess, or the thing I want to almost summarize this video on is just how strong the market is. Because I can tell you now, the rest of the world and other markets in the world, they ain't that strong at the moment. The car industry is battling. I sell Toyotas and it is not easy anymore. We are battling more than we have in a very, very long time. I'm not crying poor, of course, but it is a lot harder than what it has been. And the point I'm trying to make is there are a lot of industries out there that are really, really struggling, but the Pokemon card investing space just seems to be going from strength to strength. It's almost like it's Teflon. Nothing will stick to it. No matter what's happening externally in the economy, whether, people are having faults on mortgages, whether, stocks are down, whether other industries are underperforming, people will want to go back to that nostalgia. Kids will want to open Pokemon card booster packs. And that industry just seems to be going from strength to strength and can almost deflect everything else that's coming on out or at it externally. So I guess what that means from a future perspective is it just reminds us ultimately, to finish up this video, it just reminds us ultimately that we just can't go wrong. Like, there's 27 odd years of history now. Like, you just can't go wrong. Just invest in booster boxes from every set if you want, and stack up more from good sets if you think they're good, with good chase cards inside them and strong total set value and good depth of chase cards, and just sit back and put them in an app and watch them go up in value. Sell them when you want to sell them if you think you've realised your gains, or do me and try and outperform, outlast and out-survive everyone else. Isn't that the slogan of the Survivor show? My booster boxes hopefully are only going to get older and rarer, and hopefully people will sell them and open them, and mine will continue to go up in price. And that's the whole play behind Pokemon card investing when it comes to sealed, in my eyes. Hopefully that wraps up the market for October and perhaps the future that's coming. Last tip, buy Surging Sparks. I'm Michael, this is PokeOz. I'll catch everyone next time.